So hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, and today we are going to talk about something called discount. So when we think about discount, it's when a shopkeeper or a trader is unable to sell their goods and they want to dispose it off, whether it is old or damaged or just not sold for some reason, to in- increase the sale or attract customers, new shop orders, and even to offer goods at a reduced price. So this is when they use this mechanism called discount, and discount basically means a reduction in the price. And through this concept, there are multiple concepts that are linked with this, or say keywords. So let's have a look. So the formal definition of discount is reduction in the selling price, and it is done to first increase the sale, or second, attract the customers, or third, offer the goods at a reduced price. So first keyword in the discount scenario is a marked price. And this is basically the printed price of an article before any reductions are applied to it. And it is also abbreviated as MP. So the second keyword is discount, and it is the amount deducted from the marked price. And the third keyword is the selling price. So this is basically the price of the article after deducting discount. So now there are some rule of thumbs when we are dealing with discounts. Let's have a look. The first is discount is always done on the marked price. This is a golden rule of thumb. So discount is always given on the mark price. It is never done on any other kind of price. So if you want to find the discount of an item, then it is the mark price minus the selling price. And if you want to find a discount percentage, this is very similar to the profit or the loss percentage. So it is basically discount over mark price into 100. It is same as what we did in the profit or a loss scenario, where we took it as a percentage of the cost price. In the same way, discount percentage is always calculated on the mark price. And similarly, like in the profit and loss section, if the discount is D%, selling price is 1 minus D over 100 of the mark price. And this is very similar to what we did in the profit or the loss section. So now let's look at successive discounts. And basically, this is what that is done when we provide multiple discounts on an item. So it is not like we are adding the discounts like linearly. We need to find the percentage of the percentage. So in such a scenario, let's say the two successive discounts are D1% and D2%. So if you need to find that out, the last selling price would be deducting both the discounts separately. First, we'll find the discount for D1, that is 1 minus D1 over 100. Then the second one, 1 minus D2 over 100. And then we multiply it with the mark price. So that's how we find the successive discounts. So now we have completed all the rule of thumbs. And now we're going to look at different kinds of problems, word problems that occur when we are working with discounts. So let's look at our first question. So it says a dinner set has a marked price of rupees 2,600. And if the shopkeeper offers a discount of 10%, we need to find the discount and the net price or the selling price that the customer pays. So let's write down what we have. So first, the marked price is rupees 2,600. Our discount percentage is 10%. So our amount discounted, or just basically the discount, can be calculated as 1 minus D over 100. The basic discount can be calculated as D% of MP, and that comes out to be 10% of 2,600. When we simplify this, we have 10 over 100 to 2,600, which comes out to be rupees 260. So the new selling price would be our mark price minus discount, and this comes out to be 2,314. And that's how we do this question. This is a very simple one. Let's move on to a bit more complicated one. So our next question is, a wardrobe is sold at rupees 5,510 with allowing a discount of 5%, and we need to find the mark price. So this is a bit of a inverse of the question that we did in the previous question. So we will take the marked price. We'll assume the marked price is X or X rupees, whatever you want to say. We already know that the selling price is rupees 5,510. And we also know the discount percentage, which is 5%. So let's find out the discount first, and that is 5% of mark price. That is 5 over 100 into X. So we know that discount can be calculated as the mark price minus selling price. equal to 5 over 100x. We can simplify this as well if we want, and that is x over 20. So our mark price is x, our selling price is 5,510, and this creates our equation. Now we'll solve this equation. We get 5,510 is equal to x minus x over 20, or 19x over 20. We solve for x to get 5,510 into 20 by 19, and this gives us the value of rupees 5,800. So our marked price has been calculated as rupees 5,800. So in this question, a dealer buys a bicycle for rupees 1,250 and then marks it for 40% above the cost price. And if he allows a further discount of 8%, we need to first find the marked price, also the selling price, and then his profit percentage. Let's see how we tackle this question. Okay, so let's start with the mark price. So we know that the cost price, or the price at which he bought the bicycle, is rupees 1,250, and he marks it over 40%. So when we need to find the MP, or the marked price over the cost price, and we have been given how upmarked he has done, in this case 40%, then the marked price would be the cost price plus the percentage marked, it is 40% of cost price. So let's calculate this. This is 1,250 plus 40 over 100 into 1,250. And this comes out to be 1,250 plus 500, which gives us rupees 1,750. So that would be our marked price. We have to be careful when we are looking at marked price and cost price, because both can be confusing. Next, we have to find the selling price. And the selling price is done in terms of the marked price and not the cost price. So selling price happens between mark price, discount, and the selling price. So let's look at this. So we already know the marked price as rupees 1,750. We also know the discount percent of 8%. And using this, we can find the selling price as 1 minus discount over 100 mark price. Let's quickly evaluate this. And this comes out to be rupees 1,610. Let's finally find the profit percentage. So we need to understand at this point of time, the profit percentage comes from our previous exercises. And in those exercises, we remember that the profit percentage is always calculated on the cost price and the selling price. So we need to eliminate the mark price. We don't have to think about it. So now let's see what do we have. So we have the cost price of rupees 1,250, and our selling price as rupees 1,610. So our profit percentage would be selling price minus cost price, and that is 360 rupees. Now we'll calculate the profit percentage, and that is 360 over the cost price 1,250 into 100, and this comes out to be 28.8%. And that is the whole combination of cost price, market price, or mark price, discount, profit percentage, and selling price. So this is a great example of showing how all of these keywords and these concepts mingle together. Let's move on to another interesting question. So in this question, a dealer marks his good 40% above the cost price and then allows a discount of 15%. Now we need to find the profit percentage again. So this is a very similar question to the one that we previously did, but here we don't have any numbers. So we need to work around with cost price of X rupees. So let's get started. So we'll follow the exact same thing that we did in the previous question, but just we don't have the numbers. So we'll first assume that the cost price is X. So then we'll know that we can calculate the mark price as cost price plus, because it's marked 40 over 100, 40% of cost price as we did previously. So we have X plus 40X over 100, and this comes out to be 14 by 10X or 7 by 5X. That's a mark price. Now we have a discount of 15%. So that will help us calculate the selling price, and that is calculated based on the discount and the mark price. So we already know the mark price and the discount percentage. So selling price is 1 minus discount over 100 of the mark price. And let's quickly calculate that. 1 minus 15 over 10 into 7 by 5x. We simplify this to get 119 over 100x. That's our selling price. So because we need to find the profit for percentage, we will only be using cost price and selling price. So let's first find the profit. And that is selling price minus cost price, which comes out to be 119 over 100x minus x. And this gives us 19 over 100x. Finally, our profit percentage would be the profit 19x over 100 whole over the cost price, which is x, into 100. So this eliminates x, and we are finally left with 19%. And that's our profit percent. Now let's talk about some questions on successive discounts. Let's see this question. So the mark price of a washing machine is 24,800 rupees, and then the shopkeeper has applied two successive discounts. Make sure you look at this keyword successive discounts of 15 and 5%. And now we have to find the selling price or what the customer paid on the washing machine. So if we remember this, the successive discount rule of thumb, we know that the selling price can be calculated using the successive discount rule of thumb, that is 1 minus d1 over 100 into 1 minus d2 over 100 into the mark price. So our d1 is 15%, d2 is 5%, and our mark price is 24,800 rupees. So let's calculate the selling price. It's 1 minus 15 over 100, 1 minus 5 over 100 into 24,800 rupees. This comes out to be 85 over 100 into 95 over 100 into 24,800 rupees. And this comes out to 20,026 rupees. Now let's try this final question of our word problem question in our discount chapter. So we need to find a single discount that is equivalent to two successive discounts, 25% and 8%. So how do we find that? So let's take any mark price. Let's keep the mark price as X rupees. So if we have two successive discounts, this can be written as 1 minus d1 over 100 and 1 minus into 1 minus d2 over 100 into the mark price X. And we have to make it equivalent to a single discount which combines d1 and d2. So that would be 1 minus d over 100 into x. And we can equate these two equations. This cancels out x. And then we have 1 minus d over 100 as we know the values of d1 and d2. So 1 minus 25 over 100 into 1 minus 8 over 100. We can simplify this as 75 over 100 into 92 over 100. And this can be written as 69 over 100. So here we have 1 minus 100 d over 100 is equal to 69. Let's simplify this. So 100 minus, so d is equal to 100 minus 69. And that comes out to be 31%. So this concludes our section on discounts. Now we'll move on to a newer topic, which is GST, or Goods and Services Tax. The central government and the state government, including the union territories, impose a goods and services tax to generate revenue. And in this section, we will learn about how we calculate these taxes. So the goods and services tax is calculated or is charged on the sale of the item. So therefore, it is always calculated on the selling price of the item and then added to the bill, create the final total bill that the person pays. So let's write a few key points. So some key points to note is first, it is collected on the sale of the item. So whenever there's an item that is sold, it only applies there. Secondly, it is calculated on the selling price of the item. It does not matter what the marked price is or what the cost price is, but the selling price of the item. And finally, when we calculate the final bill that the customer needs to pay, it is added to the selling price, and then that bill is paid by the customer. So let's start with some basic question, and then you'll get a hang of it. Says the cost of a pair of shoes at a shop was 670 rupees, and the GST to be paid or charged on this pair of shoes or this item is 8%. So let's find the final bill amount. So the selling price of the item is rupees 670 rupees. We know that the GST charge is 8%. So let's find the billing amount, and that comes out to be selling price plus GST percent of selling price. So selling price is 670 rupees plus 8% or 8 over 100 of 670 rupees. And this finally comes out to be rupees 670 plus rupees 53.60. And the final bill amount comes out to be 723.6. So that's how we calculate the final bill amount. So let's see. So mark price of the phone is rupees 6,000 rupees. Then we have a discount that shopkeeper offers, and that is 5% on cash payments. And then we have to apply a GST. A GST needs to be applied on the final bill, and that is of 8%. So we need to find what the customer has to pay or the final bill amount if he pays in cash. Okay, so this comes in multiple forms of different concepts that we have learned till now. Let's have a look. So let's put down whatever we have. So first we have the marked price, which is rupees 6,000. We have a discount percentage of 5%, and we have a GST of 8%. First, let's find the selling price for a cash payment with a discount of 5%. So the selling price is 1 minus discount over 100 into the mark price. This comes out to be 1 minus 5 over 100 into the mark price of 6,000 rupees, which comes out to be rupees 5,700. That's our discount or the selling price. Now, as we already know the selling price, we will find the GST on this selling price would be GST percentage of selling price. That is 8 over 100 into 5,700. This comes out to be 456 rupees. So our final bill amount would be selling price plus GST, and that comes out to be 5,700 plus 456. So the final payable amount by the customer would be 6,156 rupees on the cash purchase of the mobile. And that brings us to our last question in this section. So this person wants to purchase a laptop with a mark price of 35,100, which does not include the GST of 8%. But he only has 35,100. So he has requested the shopkeeper to reduce the price of the laptop in such a way that he only has to pay 35,100, including GST. So let's find out how much the amount was reduced by the shopkeeper. Okay. So for this, let's keep it simple and assume the reduced price as X. So the reduced price of the laptop is X. And let's calculate the GST on this reduced price. That would be X of, would be 8% of X. We can calculate it as X over 100. That is 2 by 25 of X. So amount that the customer needs to pay, X plus 2 by 25 of X. And we know the value of this as 35,100 rupees. So let's solve this equation. So we have 27 over 25x equal to 35,100 rupees. Solve for x to get 32,500. So the reduced amount can be calculated as 35,100 minus 32,500, and this comes out to be 2,600 rupees. And that's the end of our chapter on discount and GST. Hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you. See you.